Hey everybody, I'm Justin with AmericanMuscle.com, and this is going to be my detailed overview and install of the 2013 Cobra Jet Drag Springs from Ford Performance, available for your 2005 to 2014 GT and GT500. So the 2013 Cobra Jet Drag Springs that we have in this video should appeal to S197 GT and GT500 owners out there who spend a lot of time at the drag strip, are serious about their straight line performance, and want to go with the exact same spring used on that turnkey production drag car. Of course, we're talking about the Ford Cobra Jet, capable of 8-second time slips. Now, if you're looking to improve your handling performance on a road course, these are not necessarily going to be the spring for you. Instead, these will help lower your 60-foot times and lower your ETs through a drag-specific linear rate, along with giving the car a very tough stance, leaving plenty of room in the back for a big tire. These springs were actually co-developed by both Ford Performance and Eibach for use specifically on that Cobra Jet dragster, and if you're not familiar with this thing, check it out. It is completely badass. It's a wheeling machine capable of time slips again in the deep 8-second range. The reality is these Cobra Jets are pretty much unobtainable for most of us mortals out there, but there are a lot of parts available in the aftermarket from this car that kind of help you recreate some of this performance. Now, a big part in this car being such a beast on the strip is the suspension, and more specifically the springs here, which are going to help the car lower the 60-foot time, leave the line consistently, and they are available here on the site. The big reason why suspension plays a vital role in a drag car is weight transfer. Now, typically with a drag spring, you want to have a lighter front spring compared to the rear to help promote that weight transfer through those linear spring rates, of course, to help the car leave the line consistently and maintain a bunch of traction. But you don't want the car to squat too much, because there's a little bit of a fine line here. The car squats too much on the hit, you're going to hit the bump stops, unload the tires, lose traction, and that's just not a good thing. Now, sure, a lot of the weight transfer stuff can be more attributed to an instant center issue as opposed to a spring issue, but nevertheless, the springs will play a vital role in your setup. So again, just to hammer that home, you're going to look forward to a lighter spring rate in the front compared to the rear to encourage that weight transfer, helping out your 60-foot times in the process. Now, Ford Performance has actually been a little hush-hush on the exact spring rates with the 2013 Cobra Jet Springs, but I can assure you the same kind of rule of thumb is at play here. Another important thing to point out with these springs is that they feature a linear spring rate, and that's going to be something you'll see a lot of times when you're talking about a more competition-focused spring like the Cobra Jet here, and this is going to be a little bit different than your progressive spring rates, which tend to dominate the market. Now, the progressive spring rates, they're great for most daily drivers out there because they do offer that varying rate, usually offer a softer initial spring rate, which will make things a little bit more comfortable while cruising. However, this varying rate tends to make things a little inconsistent when you're going to be serious about competing with your car or getting it to leave consistently. So because of that, a lot of times manufacturers for a drag spring or for a road race spring will go with a linear spring rate because it's just going to make for a more consistent experience throughout. And with that said, I'm sure a lot of you guys watching are probably going, well, that's great and all, but can I use these on my weekend warrior or my daily driver, even if I don't live at the drag strip? And the answer is, of course you can. In fact, many of our customers have done so with great results. And I always tell you guys, check out the product page. You'll get some real world feedback from our customer review section, in addition to checking out some customer submitted images, which will show you just how gnarly the stance will be with these particular springs. So again, check that out on the product page at AM if you haven't done so already. But let's talk a little bit more about that stance, guys, with these things installed, because honestly, the car just looks so tough. You're looking at just about an inch in the rear, maybe an inch and 3/4 to almost 2 inches up front. That big drop up front means you're getting that nose down, iconic muscle car stance, and it's also going to allow you to run a pretty big tire in the rear. Now, just for reference sake, the 2013 Cobra Jet from Ford does run a 30-inch tall tire, 30x9 to be exact. It's a Goodyear bias ply on a 15x10-inch drag wheel. So this is a pretty good indication that you do have plenty of room to run some big tires. Now, before I talk about price and install and all that good stuff, I do want to recommend that if you plan on running these springs at the drag strip with the goal of improving your performance at the drag strip, consider checking out a set of adjustable dampers, whether it be from Viking, QA1, Ford Performance, something like that. In a perfect world, you'd like to see both compression and rebound adjustment, but some adjustment is better than none. Maybe if you want to lighten up the front a little bit, firm up the rears, you get where I'm going with this. because ultimately, guys, sticking these things on your factory dampers just won't result in the best performance, at least in my opinion. As far as pricing, well, really not a whole lot to talk about here. In fact, the Ford Performance Cobra Jet Springs will round out the top side of the price range at the high $200 mark, but the reality is, guys, most of the aftermarket springs are gonna fall between the $200 and $300 price point, so you're not gonna be looking at a huge variation there. Now, spring installs on an S197, they're really not that difficult, guys, especially if you've done them before, you know what you're in for. I'm still going 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, maybe a few hours in the shop or garage, depending on your level of expertise or experience. As far as basic hand tools, well, sockets, extensions, wrenches, things like that. Don't forget your spring compressor for this one, of course, and a lift, jack or jack stands is really what you're gonna be needing to get the job done. The front end probably is going to be your most time-consuming part because you do need to remove the entire strut assembly from the car in order to swap out the factory springs or whatever other aftermarket spring you have in favor of the Cobra Jet springs. This can be done, again, using your socket set and that spring compressor. In my opinion, the rear is the much easier part of the process. Just disconnect the sway bar mounts, the lower shock mounts, let the rear end sag a little bit, and that makes it easier to swap the rear springs altogether. But again, guys, you're really not looking at brain surgery here, so a few hours in the shop or garage, and you should be good to go. In closing, the Ford Performance Cobra Jet Drag Springs will be a solid choice for any S197 GT or GT500 owner out there for a couple of big reasons. First and foremost, these are a proven spring on the production Cobra Jet, helping lower your 60-foot time and equating to quicker ETs overall. Secondly, well, that tough stance kind of speaks for itself. So that is my review of the Cobra Jet Springs for your S197, which you can grab right here at AmericanMuscle.com.